Alright, today's project is going to be building a set of shelves for Mrs. Nate. She works on testing soils and asphalts and things like that, and they use these round sieves that are, I think they're 12 1/4 inches wide, and they're about 3 inches thick. So basically the size of a 5-gallon bucket lid. But 3 inches thick, 3 inches tall. And we're going to try to build a 3-tier rack. I've drawn up a design that looks something like that. So it'll have some legs on the bottom, and then a couple of uprights, and then it's going to have 3 of these squares for shelves. But the round sieves, or bucket lids if you think about it, sit down inside of that shelf. Now I don't show it on here, but I'm going to have some pieces of 1/4-inch rod that get bent and go up and down to divide the separate spaces up. Maybe notches would be the best way to say it. We'll go to page 2 here. It probably shows a little bit better. Sorry, the lighting's kind of bad. Hang on a second. Yeah, that's a little better. Alright, so here's the top view. We're going to have an overall length of 30 inches, and then we're going to have an overall width of 9.5. Or I'm sorry, that's not 9.5. That's in between. I'm using 1-inch square tube for this design, so it's really 10.5, 11.5 to the outside, which I have written over here, but my paperclip deal is in the way. Anyway, each of these shelves is going to have 8 slots. The spacing is going to be 3.5 inches. Kind of gives you an idea. Of course, there's going to be 3 of these. I think I said that already. And then side view on these. Yeah, my arm's gonna block you guys. Side view is gonna look something like this. So like here's the round, this round circle is the sieve, or the, bucket lid shape or whatever. And then this is the shelf down here. And then I'm gonna build some, or I'm gonna cut and bend some of these 1/4-inch rods into roughly that shape. And I kind of estimated 4-inch radius on the top. And then, of course, the buckets, or the round sieve, will stick down past the shelf by 2 1/4 inches. That just kind of gives you a basic idea. So I'll have to build 8 of these. No, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. 7 of those for each shelf. Well, I think I need 9 on the top shelf, and then 7 for the bottom and middle shelf. So when it's done, it should look something like that. I put some basic measurements. These aren't exactly to scale necessarily, but 3 inches there. And this isn't going to be one piece going all the way up. It's going to be pieces welded in between the shelves, if that makes sense. So I'll have 15 inches between, 15 inches between, and then 3 inches. And then the total overall height of the shelf will be a little bit taller, because we'll have that piece of 1/4-inch rod that comes up and then goes back down. So it'll technically be a little taller than whatever that is, 33, I guess. But anyway, it's another beautiful day. A little bit damp this morning, but it's drying off. The mongrels are out. Everybody's happy. We're going to get started on this project. So before we get too far along on a little project like this, I like to lay out the design on my workbench. Since it is pretty much the same size as a bucket lid, this will let me know if my shelf spacing's right. Here's my distance to the floor. So like here's the floor that it's going to sit on, the shelf's going to sit on. Here's that 1-inch square tube. Here's where it tees. So like this is the inside space of the 1-inch tube, this is the outside. So we're looking at it from the end, I guess, of the shelf. And I want to make sure my spacing will actually work here, because when you go to put this in there, it's basically going to sit in there like that. So I'm going to draw a rough idea. So when it's sitting in the rack, it'll essentially look like that. So it sticks down past, like I was saying, I think like 2 1/4. Yeah, 2 1/4 to the top. It sits down. There will also be a 1 inch. This bottom will be a 1 inch square tube as well. So let me kind of help add that for reference. So that'll be sitting on the floor. So we'll be about, what, 3/4 of an inch off of that, and then about 1 3/4 inches off of the floor. Plus, obviously this is going to be wider, this bottom piece. But I'm kind of planning on putting, maybe welding some, I don't know, 5/8 or 3/4 nuts on the bottom of this, just so that if it sits on a surface that's not perfectly level, it's not going to like rock around. And then up here will be another one. It'll sit in there something like that. Then of course there's going to be a third shelf on top of that yet, because there's going to be 3 of them with 8 slots per shelf for a total of 24 slots. But the big thing I wanted to make sure, when there's sieves in this above shelf, this middle shelf, or the top shelf, can I take this lower one out without bumping into the one above it? So rather than take it out, I'm going to try to put it in there. So I'll hold my finger here like you're going to rock it in there, and we'll just kind of roll it over. So yeah, let me move you guys. So yeah, there's plenty of room there. In all honesty, I could probably lower that 1 inch if I wanted to, because really that leaves almost, 2 inches, 1 3/4, something like that. I don't know. I could probably tighten it up a little bit. I'm just trying to think, because I have a feeling they're gonna just kind of throw them in there, essentially. I think we're gonna keep the gap that we have. That gives a little extra room. If later on they ever change to a larger size diameter, it'll still work within reason. But yeah, I think that's roughly what it's going to build like. And that probably gives you guys a better idea. These squares, how far they're going to be apart, how the shelf's going to kind of look once it's together. And then yeah, this end view is going to have those 1/4 inch rods. And basically the reason for that is, like these bucket lids, they fit together. So if you just make a shelf like this without anything and you throw all of them up on there, if you wanted to pull this middle one out, it's hooking into the ones beside it, so it's a pain to kind of try and pull that one out. So it needs a divider to keep them separated. So that's what those that's what these 1/4 inch rods are going to be, is the plan. Now I was planning on like a 1/2 inch offset down here, like set a 1/2 inch back. I think, yeah, here. So 10.5 and 11.5. But we'll see. I might put them on the inside of the square tube. We'll just try it. We'll try bending a few, and then we'll see what kind of looks best or works best. I bought plenty of extra 1/4 inch rods, so shouldn't be a problem. If we have to throw a few away, whatever, no big deal. So yeah, I guess we'll get started. Get him, Tina. Get him. Don't let him do that. Get him. Get him, Taylor. Get him, Taylor. Get him, Taylor. Get him. She wants to play, even though she's old. These two are the younger ones. Oh yeah. Yep, that didn't bend straight. That's better. All right, there's what the first one roughly looks like. Now I just have 2 more to go. Oh yeah. All right, next is going to be bending this 1/4-inch rod. I put together kind of a jig here. I think this is 10 inches between, but I'm kind of thinking I'll put the 1/4-inch rod inside the square tube and weld it on the back. That way it's not really visible. I mean, the back one, on the back part of the shelf will be, but whatever. So I cut off this piece of 4-inch pipe that I have, and I welded it to my work surface, and then I welded this piece of pipe, and there's enough room to fit the 1/4-inch rod between, and it pretty much follows that line. It looks like I could have went in a little bit more, but my hope is it'll hold it right up here as I bend this rod around this radius. Now, the only real question I have is it going to try to come up as it goes around? Do I need to like put a piece of square tube across here? Let me show you. I don't know if I should do something like this so that my fingers have room. That way I'm not trying to bend it, you know, on the flat bed. Bed? What bed? Work surface. I don't know. We're going to try one and see what happens. So hang on, let me give you a different angle. All right, let's see what happens. I think the first one I'm going to try without that 1/4-inch, because the nice thing about sitting it down here, I'm hoping I can hold this side and I can just cut one end. We'll see. Oh yeah, that's not too bad. I think I just need to stay up here close to the what you call it. Ah, you guys are in the way again. 1 second. Okay. I'm going to try to overbend it a little, and then I'll stretch it back out. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking overbending it was a bad idea. Let me move you guys. I don't know if it's too shadowy for you guys to see, but when I overbent it and tried to bend it back, now we have a gap right here. Let me, I'm gonna try to bend it back straight. good luck with that. We'll try and bend it again. I don't know if that will get us about where we want to be. Let's do this. Thought there would be a way. Oh well. Yeah, I'm not figuring it out. But anyway, excuse me. Anyway, that should get me close. Now I just need to do 7 of those for the bottom 2 shelves, and I need to do 7, 8, 9 for the top. So 14 and 9, 23. So that'll be fun. So it occurs to me, before I get too far along bending up all these rods, I probably should try to tack a few on, just see if it's gonna work before I put the next hour and a half into bending a whole stack of rods. All right, so I'm just gonna hold them about a 1/4 inch down and weld them and see what happens. Or at least I'm gonna try to do that. See if I'm successful. What we kind of got here. I don't know if they really need to be perfect necessarily, but basically they're going to sit like that, and then you're just going to put the deal in between. Of course, it's not high enough off the ground. So yeah, this is the bottom shelf. This is the second shelf. And this is that's going to be the top shelf. So I had to add a loop at either end, because on these they'll have a square tube between, which will hold the end cap from falling out. So I had to add one to either end. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. That looks pretty good. What about this way? That looks pretty good too. All right, let's weld it right there. All right, so got her all welded up. My plan is just to do some rattle can black. It's going to be sitting inside a building, so it doesn't really need like the heavy Rust-Oleum or anything. I just need to keep it from rusting on the surface. And I got it strung up in this tree, so I'm going to try to get it from the bottom and up. Well, it's hanging. I can of course swing it out, make my life easier, so we're going to try to do that. we're gonna let that dry for about a half hour. Can says dries in 8 minutes. Krylon, not a sponsor. Then we're gonna hit it with another coat. I'm just gonna end the video here because you guys have already seen it. I think the rack turned out great. I'm happy with the overall product. Let me move you over. So I'm happy with the overall product. I think it'll work perfect for what the wife needs. The only thing left to do, like I said, is a second coat of paint. And then on the feet on the bottom, that bottom rail, I bought some little felt pads, stick-on felt pads. So I'm just gonna put them on the bottom of that. It's gonna sit, I think, on top of a cabinet or something at her work. So that'll help keep it from scratching any of the surfaces. So. Hello everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm always surprised when I stumble upon a YouTube creator who has millions of subscribers and has been producing videos for years, completely unknown to me. I would like to help correct this issue by giving some of my favorite creators a shout out during my videos. To that end, I would like to take this opportunity to spotlight one of my fellow YouTube creators, someone I personally subscribe to. If you find my content interesting, please consider going down to the video's description and follow the link I have placed there. The link will take you to today's chosen creator. But for now, please stay tuned for any bloopers related to this video. Thank you, everyone.